that's what has me puzzled, because, they're saying, oh, he had leukemia, and I'm like, I saw his blood work every time. One doctor, I quote, said...
Howdy, y'all. I'm Brylan. Ozzy Osbourne's cause of death has been revealed. Now, I know this story is technically old news because this information was released last week. However, when all of this came out, I wasn't feeling good. Hence why I haven't posted a video in a week. But you know what? There's a lot of interesting information here and interesting connections that I really want to talk about. So you know what? We're going to talk about it. I'm also going to show you how weirdly Ozzy Osbourne died the exact same way that another mega famous superstar died, just days apart. Real quick, would you consider hitting that thumbs up button? You know, when you like this video, it'll get pushed out to more people and it would really help spread the truth. Now, to see my first video I did on Ozzy Osbourne's death, I want you to go watch What They Won't Tell You About the Death of Ozzy Osbourne. The info in that video will blow your mind. The Black Sabbath frontman officially died at the age of 76 from cardiac arrest, acute myocardial infarction, coronary artery disease, and Parkinson's disease. Now, obviously, this cardiac arrest and the acute myocardial infarction, if that sounds familiar, it's because another mega famous, like one of the most famous names on earth, just passed away from the exact same thing. And I'm going to show you who that is in just a second. That's why a lot of people were commenting when Ozzy put on his last show. I can't show any clips of it because I'll slam this video immediately. But when he put on his last show, they said, he looks better than he has in like a decade, okay? How did he just all of a sudden, and there's all kinds of different theories on how his passing away wasn't an accident. It was intentional. That's as much as I can say about that. But in fact, what's crazy is that just a little over a week before Ozzy passed away, Kelly Osbourne was responding to claims that Ozzy was dying and that he had a take his own life pact with Sharon Osbourne. Now, this is why I love Ground News, because you get all the news and not just what the mainstream is programming you to see. In fact, Kelly Osbourne said, "What's the matter with you? He doesn't have a pact with Sharon, and Ozzy is not dying." You know, that's another reason why I absolutely love Ground News, is because they show you what mainstream media is being biased. Their blind spot feature shows you when the left or the right isn't covering the news that you should know about. You can also see who owns each news outlet. If you go to ground.news/Brylan or scan the QR code on the screen, you can get 40% off the same Vantage plan that I personally use. Thank you for supporting the sponsor of this video, Ground News. It helps me to continue to bring you daily news videos that you can trust. Now, Kelly says that none of the rumors were true about the declining health of Ozzy. And this is actually the last known video of Ozzy before he passed away. Or at least that's what is claimed.
Say good morning.
Good morning.
Now, this was Kelly filming, and Ozzy looks and sounds great, actually, for everything that he was going through. But a lot of the people closest to him were actually very shocked because his death happened suddenly. But there's lots of people that are pointing out and making the connection that, one of them is the Jones. I mean, countless numbers of people that are making the connection between Ozzy's sudden passing and how he was relieved after getting the jabber dabber. In fact, Snopes had to do an entire article saying that Ozzy's death revives jab conspiracy theory because it's all just a conspiracy theory, remember? However, there's a lot more to this story. Now, Ozzy has a well-documented history of using hard things and for decades. And decades. And decades. In fact, it was just like a year ago that Ozzy admitted that he was taking things again and hiding it from Sharon. Now, some of this was done in tongue-in-cheek, but He admitted to being back on certain things because it just helped him to feel better. This is a man that described the last 5 years of his life before he passed away as hell. And so, again, this is a man that used copious amounts of extremely hard substances. In fact, there was even an article that was done showing how Ozzy's genome reveals how he survived 40 years of hard abuse that should have taken his life. And that would have taken anybody else's life, because this report shows that when he had testing done, that he had like genes of Neanderthal, and his DNA was different than other people's, and how it essentially made him immune to the type of negative effects that would come from using heavy substances. But we all saw what it did to Ozzy. Now, yes, it's true. There are plenty of people that can go their entire lives doing things, using substances that can essentially get away with it. And they live until their 80s or 90s and they die of old age. And there are some people that they use hard substances for a very short time and they pay the price and they lose their life early. Ozzy was one of those people that got away with it for a really long time, although it took a major toll on him physically, mentally, spiritually. There's no doubt about that. We all saw it with our own eyes. But does that mean that all of this is fake? Now, I'm not making any claims, but we're going to look back. I believe wholeheartedly, 100%, we're going to look back, and this is going to be a very dark time in our history, in the history of humanity, like ever. And it's going to be a very dark thing, what we're going to find out that it has done to DNA, to people's lives, and it's going to be terrifying when we actually know the truth about it. I personally know people. I wish that they didn't make the decision that they made to get the thing, and they're paying the consequences. They lost certain abilities. Well, Ozzy actually joked once that Satan saved him from co-fraud. Yeah. It was kind of done in tongue-in-cheek, but again, is when you put two and two together here, the spiritual realm, and I think that's a lot of what we've seen going on over the last 5 years, with people en masse just being completely controlled in their thinking, in their minds, and again, en masse, just believing and accepting what they are being told to do. No questions asked, because there's going to be people that say, well, look at the hard substances you used. You're a conspiracy theorist for even bringing this up. And then there's going to be people saying, hey, you dummy, it was obviously the thing that took him out. And it's like, how do you remedy it? In fact, if you've seen what RFK just recently came out and said about the repercussions and all, about all the things that the things. And then with the things, and then you have the things with, and then when you do all the things, it all adds up to things. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section of the death of Ozzy and how it's eerily so similar to so many other deaths recently. Also, here's a picture of Ozzy getting his hair straightened by Sharon with an iron. Have you ever done this? This was a popular thing. A very interesting technique. On the other hand, you have Hulk Hogan's cause of death. Now, I also did a video covering what they won't tell you about the death of Hulk Hogan. Go check out this video to see some things that are just absolutely incredible. But I also did another video on Hulk Hogan having a massive secret that we just found out about after his death. But when you look at Hulk's cause of death, you'll see it's extremely similar. It's the same thing. He suffered acute myocardial infarction or a heart attack. But we also saw something extremely surprising in his death certificate. It was that he had chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Nobody knew about this. In fact, it goes so far as Brooke Hogan, his own daughter, saying that there's something suspicious going on here. The fact that he has this leukemia, nobody knew about it. It never came up on any blood tests he's ever done before, but he just suddenly had it?
That's what has me puzzled because, they're saying, oh, he had leukemia. And I'm like, I saw his blood work every time. One doctor, I quote, said, his blood is like a 25-year-old. I mean, he took the most care of his body and his blood. I mean, he was going to an anti-aging specialist and would also, just being through all the surgeries. You have to do a blood panel before any major surgery. How did nobody catch, a high white blood cell count? That's what bothers me the most.
And she didn't just talk about it on Bubba the Love Sponge podcast. She also talked about it with TMZ. In fact, there's lots of people, countless numbers of people that said that, well, it was the thing that got Hulk as well. How it just happened to cause similar issues that other people are saying have happened to them and that they're going through after getting the thing. Now, there is something interesting to take into account here, is that Hulk was actually very vocal about being anti-thing. He said, this was actually a comment he left as a reply to this woman who said, well, many directions we can go with this, but I will take jab for 500, Alex. This was talking about somebody getting hurt, passing away, and then Hulk replied, 100% Betty and Sydney were also jabbed. They're dropping like flies, but they'll never say it. Now, this was Hulk saying that obviously he is seeing people in his realm that are getting the thing that are dropping like flies. But that wasn't it, because Hulk also posted this. This was during the time. This was back in April 2020. Listen to this. He said, word up. You can handle the truth, my brother. Only love. Hulk Hogan. In 3 short months, just like he did with the plagues of Egypt, God has taken away everything we worship. God said, you want to worship athletes, I will shut down the stadiums. You want to worship musicians, I will shut down civic centers. You want to worship actors, I will shut down theaters. You want to worship money, I will shut down the economy and collapse the stock market. You don't want to go to church and worship me, I will make it where you can't go to church. This is deep stuff here. Wow, maybe we don't need a thing. Maybe we need to take this time of isolation from the distractions of the world and have a personal revival where we focus on the only thing in the world that really matters, Jesus. Now, this was a fantastic post, by the way. Very well said. On the other hand, some people have said that Hulk would have to have taken the thing at some point because of his line of work and the things that he was into and his businesses and where he would have to travel to and all that kind of stuff. I'd like to think he didn't get it, but some people are saying that he would have had to have in order to keep up with certain business things. Brooke is saying that something is just weird. Something is off. Nothing makes sense when it comes to her dad's passing. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section. Listen to this though, Proverbs chapter 3. Verse 13 through 18. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her. Those who hold her fast are called blessed. And this is talking about wisdom, something that we can pray and ask the Holy Spirit to give us. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please hit that thumbs up button, when you like this video, to get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.